Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Coach V. So excited to be here with super powerful Coach Ivon. Hello, Coach.
Hey coach, how you doing? I'm ready for this one. I got some good questions. It's going to be exciting.
I am so ready to, so excited. I love being here and bring you guys some strategy, some power, some energy to help you to elevate your mindset, your skills, so you can help more people, right, Coach? Convert more and make a difference. So, Coach, let's go.
Let's do it. So for anyone joining us who hasn't seen Ask Coach V before, you're in for a treat. This is the series where we do exactly what the title says. We ask Coach V. I go to social media groups, sometimes what clients are saying, sometimes what I overhear agents saying, and I find questions that real agents in today's world are asking. And we answer them. But here's the benefit. You get to hear the answer from two top coaches who have been there and done that and help agents grow their business. So you get really a unique perspective. And I think it's something that I really enjoy and I know you're going to get a ton of value from. So, coach, let's jump right into it. Let me pull up the first question. I'll read it, I'll explain it a bit, and we'll just hear your answer. So, here's this first one. Broker made me turn down a listing that's 1.5 hours away. Said it was too far to provide good service. It was $900,000. I'm fuming. Now, the first comment is someone saying, I wouldn't let the broker tell me what to do or contractors. You should be allowed to run your own business, do what you want to do. The second one is posing a question, which is, hey, 1.5 hours is kind of far. Are you really an expert 1.5 hours away? So basically, there's a lot to unpack here, right? We have an agent that was going to take a deal hour and a half away. Broker told them no. So, coach, I want to ask you, what should the agent have done here? What is the right, message or lesson for them to take from this situation? And what are your thoughts on this situation?
Oh, I love the question because it actually brings so many great things to the surface, right? So first of all, I don't know exactly the details because look, I was living in Half Moon Bay and my market was south of San Francisco. That's, by the way, that's the Bay Area, California. My market was south of San Francisco all the way to San Jose. So that's a big, nice market. But you see, I started a market, went around everywhere. So I would say it depends. There's several ways you can go here. First of all, if you know the area really well, you can take the listing, right? You can take the listing. Nothing stopping you for take the listing, and it can be an hour and a half away from the office, but maybe still close to your house. Just an example. The other thing is how is your standard? How is your standard? So my standard was if it was more than an hour away, or it can be even an hour 15 away, without traffic, I would call list, right? I would call list or I'll refer. I'll refer. So now the thing is, if you don't know anything about the market, what's going to happen when you don't know things about the market, Coach Yvonne? How do we feel?
You're going to be uncertain, I'm sure.
Uncertain, secure, unsure, and then you're probably not going to get the listing anyways, or the client's going to feel your incongruency and start doubting you. So the question is, how do you feel about this? So number one is don't let the broker make a decision. You're an independent contractor. You should be able to run your business as a CEO that you are. So know where you are, what you need, know your level of skills, set of skills, what you're able and capable, right, coach? And then you
Yeah.
make the decision, but then ask yourself, what do I want from this? What's my standard? Would you agree, coach?
Yeah, and I think that's really the important thing that gets brought up here is that issue of standards and having your personal standards. Because when you don't have standards, everything looks like a fantastic opportunity, right? And you might be driving 2 hours back and forth multiple times a week for this listing and thinking, hey, it's worth it because I'm getting this listing, but you're not doing any prospecting, you're not finding new business, you're not having conversations and setting appointments because all your time is spent driving to this listing. Now you have to start thinking, is it really worth it? So, coach, I know that ultimately it's always going to be a situation by situation decision, right? We
Right.
can't tell every agent you should always take deals at distances or that distance. It depends a lot. So you brought up standards and that they need to have some standards. Could you give like an idea of what's, some decent standards might look like to save them time and energy? Because I don't think every hour and a half away listing is worth taking. Would you agree?
Right. I agree. And I'll be so happy. I love that you asked that because this is huge. Like you said before, Without standard, anything, any shiny penny, any distraction seems like an opportunity. So you got to know exactly what you want, why you want it, what you're willing to take and not take. But I want to make sure, I want to go back a little bit on an important point, coach. Make a decision if you take a listing or buyers out of fact, out of awareness and consciousness, not because you are in scarcity mode. Oh my God, I got nothing going on. So I gotta take this buyer 2 hours away or seller 2 hours away because I got nada here. No, no. Guys, be wise. If you have a pipeline that's always full, you have options. You can choose and decide. That's a beautiful freedom. So let's go here. Set your standard. What are standards? Nothing more than your rules. Those are my rules. So you can steal mine, right, coach? I'm going to show you my buy standard, my listing standard. My buy standard, they're highly motivated. They are pre-approved. You can say also pre-qualified, pre-approved or pre-qualified. And if they have cash, I want to see the verification funds. We see many times people say, I have money, I'm going to pay cash. And they never had the money. They just want to see homes, right? Or the money never going to arrive from China or someplace else. So again, highly motivated, highly approved, qualified, or have the cash. Number three, they are listening to you. Listen, everyone. If everything you say, they fight you, they resist you, they push you back, everything, there's no trust. So, or you're failing to build trust, or maybe the person never going to trust you and it's just pulling teeth. Can you imagine, coach, walk with someone like this who's going to fight you all the time? That's a big red flag. Would you agree?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. So make sure the person you are building trust with the person, you are adding value, building trust, and asking, commanding that trust back, right? So communication is key. Number four is your price range. Yeah, if you don't sell mobile home or 200,000, 300,000, or you don't even sell $400,000 condo, you know it, and then you can give to someone else in your office. So again, what's your minimum? And by the way, this depends where you are. I have clients in several states. I had one client who said, I don't want to sell anything under 400,000. Good for you. You know, maybe you are in Texas or someplace. I had a client, I never forgot, in Manhattan. She said, Coach, I'm doing well. I keep my pipeline full. I have a great team. I don't want to work with any buyer under $1 million. I said, good for you. Of course, some of you guys in Florida like, what? $1 million is high end. Again, depends where you are. That's why we're talking about standards. So she gave away all her buyers on $1 million to somebody else, and she took care of the above that. And number five, your area, your TAM, totally addressable market. So I believe if it takes you more than 1 hour with traffic, you probably, I would, and that's how I did. I did call list or call by or give a referral.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that's missing here is context, right? We don't have a lot of context for this person's
Yeah.
situation, but I think it's safe to imagine that if this person is, desperate over this one deal an hour and a half away and fuming that their broker said, "Hey, you shouldn't take it, it's too far." They're probably in that position where they're like, "I don't have a lot going on, so I need to take any deal I can." And so I just want to highlight the importance, guys. Remember, the time that you spend babysitting a deal that's so far away, if you can spend that time generating business close to you that serves you better, it's going to be so much more valuable. So
Yes.
I guess
And one
maybe,
second, coach. But here too, the coach said, I mean, the broker said, not only because it's far away, it's because you don't have market knowledge. Therefore, you can service the client properly. Yeah, you got to keep that in mind too, because by the way, if you are willing to go that, you shouldn't have market knowledge.
right, there's a lot that goes into it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, maybe it's a rural area where the closest city is already a 45-minute hour drive away.
Yeah.
We
We
don't
don't
have
know
all the
it.
details, but I think it's important to talk about because it brings up the idea that, hey, we need to have standards and know what is worth doing, what is not worth doing, so you can make a decision from a place of power. And then, of course, you own that decision, not your broker. So we don't know, what that relationship is like between them and all that, but it's a really one that I thought was good to talk about because it brings this discussion up. So, Coach, before I go to our next question, anything else on this one that you want to bring up?
I love what you say, and this is true. And now, listen, everyone say it, common sense. Write on your notes, common sense. Real estate is common sense, right? Real estate is a business contact sports, right? And you gotta have common sense because every situation is different. Now, I would say also make your business decision. Make your business decision based on facts, based on reality and what's good for you. Now, have also the evidence that you're going to provide you, because if you're going over there, but you feel uncertain, insecure, and you're going to be incongruent, you're going to say, oh, I can sell, but your body's like, oh, the clients can feel. And that would be a waste of time and energy. So get boots on the ground, be resourceful, own your true and your power, and go get what you want, but based on what you want. So have clarity for everything. This is my standard, this is my outline or my checklist of everything before I do anything, right, coach?
Exactly. And I think it's safe
Oh,
to say that the answer to this question is look, you're going to have to make a personal decision each time, hopefully in line with your standards. But I
right,
think we can say pretty confidently that if you're taking a listing an hour and a half away, that should be an exception to your rule and not your norm, right? You should
exactly.
definitely be looking to co-list, co-buy, refer that out. All right, awesome. Let's move to our next question. This person said, "Do you attend your buyer's inspections? Why or why not?" So the first immediate responses that I included here in this were like, absolutely, silly question, every single time, every single one. I would say 95% of the comments, I kind of looked through them, were saying, of course, it's your job, it's what we do, it's service, I always provided service, and kind of angry at this person for even asking. Now, there were a couple comments that were like, no, I don't, I'm successful, I have a great inspector that I trust, and, that's his job, I let him do his job, and I don't do it. And those comments were mostly, not met with a lot of support. So, Coach, I want to ask you the question. Do you attend buyer inspections? Why or why not? And what do you tell your clients to do?
First of all, let me say, hey guys, suspend judgment. And if you are in these groups, there's never a silly question. There's no wrong question. There's no silly question. And it's just a way you engage and get more information, even bounce back ideas. The people who are throwing hate or being always critical, it's a lack of business maturity and also a lack of understanding and support. So don't ever do that, okay? We're not here to judge. We don't know how people are doing business. It might be what we call a cry for help. So first of all, in the beginning, I was in every inspection. Why, Coach V? First of all, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I went to everything. Now, once I got, and by the way, you guys know I got my first coach, real estate coach in 2001. Never has stopped having one because there's always a better level. You need to learn how to think bigger, think better, and have the best strategies, how to do things. Once I start selling a lot of homes, I realized, guys, I was selling two, three, four homes a week. My best week, some of you guys know my trajectory, my journey. My best week, I sold 12 homes. So if I'm gonna go to every inspection, every closing, I can help more people, right? But here's the key. If I'm a great surgeon, a brain surgeon, and I'm gonna do a surgery on a kid, a brain surgery, do I have to be there from the very beginning on the anesthesiologist is doing his job? Do I have to be there to make sure the anesthesiologist know what to do?
Yeah, or
Or,
are
do I,
you taking their vitals and their blood pressure in the beginning?
or am I doing the nurse job because I only one can do it? Am I doing, you see, no. What is my point, Coach V? What do you want to get with this? The thing is, I realize I don't have to do that. My inspectors, I always give them two names, right? Because it's good to give them option and ask them if they have one, but make sure you tell them you know your people. And my inspector, he does a great job. He takes pictures. He does a very good thing. Plus, I realized as I was talking to my coach, being there is a distraction. It's a distraction. So what you do is you set the expectation with your buyers. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, of course, you want to know everything about the house. Of course, you want to know what's wrong or not wrong, what's good, and be aware. I know where you are. Now, can I tell you also what's the most important thing? We want to make sure that the inspector does his job at the highest level, deep. Being there and being of that is going to be a distraction for him and it's going to be interfering. If you really, really have to be there, if you like to be there, let's go on the last 10 minutes of the inspection and you can talk to him and ask any particular question. Now, remember, you will gonna get a report with pictures. You're still gonna be able to talk to them. And now I want to share with you in this particular one, I can be there because I have an appointment that I couldn't change. But guess what? You're gonna go there at the last 10 minutes, my assistant's gonna meet you there, and then you can ask any question, or even 20 minutes, you can ask any question to the inspector yourself, knowing that you're gonna have the time with me. We're gonna go over the report together. We're gonna go over your worries or fears or questions together. So we are here for you. We're gonna cover everything, and you are going to have every question answered. So you see, is the expectation that you set with the client. Because why do they believe they want to be there? Because somebody told them they want to be there, but also because they're anxious and nervous. Now, don't confuse. Maybe they want to see the house again, but that's a different thing. They want a different, but let the inspector do the job. Makes sense, Coach Ivon?
Exactly. And I think this is an issue of people not understanding, running a business as a business and having scale. Because
Yeah,
at the end of
because
the
yeah,
day, you can't do every single thing in your business. And let's be honest, what are you adding when the home inspector is there doing his job? You're not a home
nada.
inspector. You're not a professional at that. You're not finding anything that they aren't going to find, right? Your business, you're better served and your client is better served if you're doing other things. You can be finding new business so you can have more revenue, more cash flow. You could be finding another home for another buyer. You could be helping a seller in your business. There's so much that you can do that's a better use of your time. It's all about making sure that you have a team that you trust. And remember, guys, you might be thinking, oh, but I'm solo. I'm not a team. Your vendors, your partners, your people that you work with, they're part of your team. And having a good inspector that you trust, setting those expectations with your clients, sending them to meet that inspector, that's part of running a good team. And it's going to allow you to do more business.
Yeah, allow it to scale. By the way, and you might say, but Vanda, Coach V, they did not demand. No, because they you see what brings fear and happiness is a lack of expectation set. Or should I say, yeah, it's a lack of setting expectation, and then they create an hallucination or an idea. So if you explain to them, you got in good hands. You got me. I'm gonna take care of you. We're gonna go over together. I'm gonna answer all your questions. You are in control. If they feel well taken care, well served, they don't have fear. I never had anyone complain, no one upset with me, and my business grew so many referrals, repeated referrals. So remember, guys, it's they at the end of the day, they just want to make sure you take care of them at the highest level. They had a great customer experience and customer service. You don't have to answer the phone every second and be in the back and call. You don't have to be trying to do everything because you got to learn to delegate, outsource, prepare them how it works so you can help more people sell more homes. And
Exactly. So
right?
for all those people jumping on this person for asking the question and saying, what a stupid question, go to every single one, it's your job to be there. Guess what? From a top agent who's sold over 1,000 homes, from two top coaches here who have been doing this for years, helping people achieve billions of dollars in sales, we'll tell you right now, if you are trying to grow your business, sell more homes, if you're trying to grow at scale and you're going to every single inspection, guys, you're the one that needs to update and upgrade and grow because that's not the way to do
Yeah.
it. You need to delegate, you need to clone yourself, find people that can do things that you don't need to do. And remember, you were never the inspector in the first
The
place. If
first
you're
place.
showing up at the inspection out of a favor, out of kindness because you don't have that much business and you have the time, okay, but that doesn't work at
Yeah.
scale.
Now, thank you, coach. Now I want to add you this. Now remember this. If you don't set expectation, educate, prepare, and let them know that everything's going to be okay. And it shows the benefit of doing your way, and that's on you. So if you fail in your communication, on prepare them and explaining how it works, that's the process, how it works, just like a surgery, just like the hair appointment, right? By the way, one of my hairdresser, he was the top hairdresser in the city, one of the best in the city. He didn't do the wash. I went over there, he's finishing up someone else. His assistant is washing my hair so he can color my hair. Guys, for you to be able to elevate your game and upgrade and scale, you got to think bigger, better, and be more strategic. It's not a question of diminished service. We're not talking about do less, we're doing about doing better and way more strategic, right, coach?
Exactly. So for all of you guys that are shaking right now, thinking about missing your first home inspection because you've never not gone to one, just remember, set the stage, set the expectations, frame it as a benefit to your clients.
for
If you
them.
explain to them how it's going to work and why, they'll have no problem with it. Let them know, hey, this is how we do things. This is why. Here's how it benefits you. Here's how I'm going to be helping you. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see
Yeah.
you soon. Guys, I guarantee you they will be okay with it as long as you treat it as a matter of fact thing. You position yourself as the expert. They know your time is valuable and that you're out there fighting for them and working for them. You are not the home inspector.
Yeah. And by the way, coach, when you sell a lot of people high-end homes for the doctors, they are like I saw the house of the mayor, the doctors, the business people, they don't have 2 hours to go and stay there when they want someone, and that's why you become the trust advisor. They want someone who has the processes in place, the systems in place, and the way that they say, hey, take care of me, Vanda, show me the report. What should I worry about it? What should I know about it? What do you think? Help me here. I don't like this. That's how it works. So again,
Exactly. And hey, if
have
you guys
clear.
are liking this stuff, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to Coach Vonda's channel so you don't miss any other ones. We're always sharing great stuff and share this with someone that needs it. And I'll say this too. Before Coach V closes us out, let this serve as a reminder. Be careful with these groups. Be careful with what people say in the office. Be careful just listening to what anyone says because if I was an outside observer that was not a real estate coach and didn't talk to hundreds of agents and every single week, and I just showed up here and I saw that question and I saw 100 comments telling that person they're an idiot and of course they have to go to every inspection, what am I going to believe? Oh, all those people, that majority of people, they're right. But we know that that's not necessarily the case, right? So just be careful where you're getting your information from. Be careful who you trust. If you want to get the best information, if you really want to know what's up, talk to people who are doing well. Talk to people who are
Sell a lot of
professionals,
homes.
right?
Yeah.
Who sell a lot of homes, not just any anonymous voice on the internet.
Everything you do, thank you, coach. That's awesome. Everything you do is a result of your filter, how you see the world. Upgrade your filter. Do not listen to anyone and everybody. Remember this, guys, 71% of the agents last year didn't sell one home. And just about 1 million agents didn't get one listing. So the majority of agents out there, they're not succeeding. They don't know how to scale. They have no training, no coaching, no preparation. So be very careful, like Coach Ivon said, you're listening to. So do me a favor. If you have not subscribed yet for my channel, for our channel, do it right now because that's what we do. Every week, every day that we can, we bring you value, we bring you strategy, we share with you the energy, the touches for you to grow. So I hope you like this. Thank you, Coach Ivon.
Thank you. It was a great one as always. And guys, we'll see you on the next episode.
See you in the next one. Stay strong, go share your magic, and see you soon.